What's up, everybody? This is That Brown Bat here for another Mod Messin tutorial, and in this tutorial I'm going back to basics again because I would like you to see what it's like from scratch, and I don't feel I did justice in the first UNLUAC and QuickBMS tutorial. Even though I left the links, there was at least one thing I glossed over, and my apologies for that. I didn't realize it until yesterday, so many months later, right, when I tried to do this tutorial in a more precise, easier way of learning, or so understanding, I should say. Okay, one of the things I'm going to need is my playlist for Mod Messin tutorials. And why? And that's because I have special links in here that I'm going to need in order to download certain things. Okay, so this is the QuickBMS and UNLUAC tutorial, and that's what I'm going to go over. And this time from a fresh assets file. Nothing in here is modded at all. Now, before you mod, I suggest you back things up. And the best way, and I just realized this earlier today, the best way to back things up for modding is to don't just copy it and make a copy of it, as you see right here. I have a copy right there. But the best way to do it, if you have 7-zip, use it. If you have WinRAR, use it. One of the two. If you don't have either of them, you can use the built one in Microsoft, send to compressed zip folder. Either one of those will work. I like 7-zip for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, zip it, and it'll send it to a zip folder. And I have mine in a different drive. Now, what that allows you to do, let's say I mess this assets folder up. I don't have to go and copy another one. What that does is it takes a very, very long time, but it cuts the time and probably by 3, maybe in a quarter or something like that. It just chops it down. So I have the entire game backed up with no mods. Okay. Well, there's the Apollo mod in there, but pretend that's not there. So what that allows me to do is just take this assets folder and move it somewhere else. So I could pretty much drag that. I could do this, right? And it'll take some time, but it won't take as, I'm going to cancel it. I don't want to do it, but it's going to take a lot less time than just copying and pasting. And when you cut and paste and move something, once you do that, if you put it on a different drive, you can move a file, and the file will move quicker than it will if you copy it. I hope that makes sense. So if you're into modding, it's just a tip that I'm just giving you for free. All right, so into the assets folder. So where is that? It's in your Steam, your program files, Steam apps, Common, and Disney Infinity 3.0. Easy way to find that is to go to your Steam hub and find Disney Infinity 3.0, right click on it, and go to manage and say browse local files, and just open another instance of it down in my toolbar. Oh, it was already open. So if I have it closed, right, I don't need that, and do it from here, browse local files, boom, there. So that's an easy way to get to it, and I would say make a shortcut of it so you don't have to rely on Steam all the time. So in the assets folder, unmodded, right? A lot of the mods we're going to do are character mods. So basically, I'm trying to think here. Let's take a Jedi, for instance. And Jedi do not have healing properties. But we would like to give them a little boost of some kind of healing regeneration. You know what I mean? When I say Jedi don't have healing properties, I'm talking about the Jedi in the game, right? I'm not talking about the Force skill to heal or whatever. the Force power. I'm not talking about that. So I have all my Jedi characters in the modded game to heal. So this is going to be a very, very basic. And how do you start? You start with basics. So in the assets folder, find your characters folder. You open that. Now we're going to need the DNAX files. All right. So the first thing you're not going to see are any DNAX files. You're just going to see a bunch of folders. You'll see the character folders. So let's say Anakin, for example. I'm going to use Anakin, for example. And Anakin's under TCW. And TCW stands for the Clone Wars. And TCW Anakin. All right. So that's his character files. You have TCW Anakin, which consists of the model files. AI Cart, which consists of the model files for him driving the artificial intelligence, the AI when you race against them in the Toy Box Speedway. The pieces, that's the model file or the skin for the pieces when he breaks apart, when he's defeated. And TCW Anakin PS, that's the playset version, which I don't know what the difference is, but clearly you can see that there's a difference in the zip file size. Anyway, we're not going to do anything with those. The file we need is not in there. That's for other things that we might do later on the road, but I have other tutorials that deals with the model swapping. And by the way, there's another model swapping tutorial coming out sometime soon that pretty much takes all the other model swappings that I did and just blows it out of the water. So there's another method to that, but that's for a different day. But before you do any of that anyway, those advanced videos, you're going to need to do this. And some people just skip over that. And I understand. But anyway, I understand. You want to get right into the good stuff. So what we want to do is unzip this character zip. This is going to have all the other files that we need. However, it's not a real zip file. They just named it a zip. Now in 2.0 and 1.0, the zip files are zip files. You can just right click on them and extract them. You can't do that here. You need another program for that. That's where you need QuickBMS. All right, so I'm going to go to the description of that video that I have. So the first thing you're going to need is go on that link where it says Disney Infinity. I'm sorry, the one under QuickBMS. And I'm just going to open that in a new tab. All right, and it's going to go take you to the Internet Archive. There's other places to get this, but when I made that video and was looking for the exact links, I was trying to find the safest ones that didn't give pop-ups. I mean, you should have pop-up browser or pop-up blockers and stuff like that anyway installed, but some of that stuff was redirected to very not good sites. All right, so I'm not going to do torrent. I'm going to do the zip, right? So I'm going to download that. It's 14.8 megs. All right, and I'm going to save that to my desktop. Okay, on my desktop, I have QuickBMS. Now here's folder I'd already extracted. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of the one I extracted earlier, and I'm going to unzip this one and extract it to QuickBMS. I'm using 7-zip. All right, and there it is. I no longer need the zip file. And I'm also, I know you can't see this because of my lovely background here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a folder called Disney Infinity Tools, or DI Tools, or whatever you want to call it, DI Tools, right? And I am going to put that in there. Okay. I had to change my desktop background so you can see what it is. So there's a very low res, blown up background of Black Cauldron. All right. So where is it? DI Tools. All right. So now I'm going to open the DI Tools, and now we have QuickBMS in there. We're going to put other stuff in there later on. So first and foremost, open up QuickBMS. All right. Now, here's the exe file. So you need the Disney Infinity BMS file. So back to my QuickBMS UNLUAC, which will be the old tutorial, and you're going to find Disney Infinity BMS. It's going to take you to a Game Banana site. Open that in a new tab. All right, and it's a WinRAR file. So you're going to download that if you don't already have it, of course. And we're going to put that in DI Tools. All right, we're done with that. Go back to the folder here, and now if you don't have WinRAR, you're going to have to download WinRAR and install it. It's like 7-zip. All right, it's just another program that zips things or compresses things. All right, so I'm just gonna, and if you have both of them, I believe you can use either or, but you have to have WinRAR if it is a WinRAR, otherwise you can't open it. So I'm gonna use 7-zip here and extract to Disney Infinity BMS. All right, and there's Disney Infinity BMS. What we want is the actual BMS file, so I'm just gonna take that out of there, move it. And I'm done with the RAR file, and I'm done with that folder. And I'm going to take that BMS file and put it in the QuickBMS folder. All right, so leave that there for a second. Don't close your screen. Don't close your window. And go back to your characters. And we want that character zip. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the title or the address bar and copy that address bar of the location of the character zip. Now, back to your QuickBMS screen, and you're going to take the Infinity BMS and drag it on top of QuickBMS.exe. All right, now it opens up this window. Next thing you're going to do is go up to the address bar up here and paste what you just copied, and it'll take you to that folder where the character zip is. So that's all the way down to the bottom. So what you're going to do is select that, open it. In the next window, you're not going to touch anything except for save. And this is going to extract it. Once that's done, you can close the command window. Now, you no longer need this character zip folder because you just unzipped it. Now, I'm expecting that you have backed it up. Not this particular file, but the folder itself, the assets folder, before you start anything. That's why I'm going to go ahead and delete this. If you don't want to delete it, you can simply rename it to .old or take your pick. The trick is to not allow Disney Infinity Game Engine to read that file because you want it to read the extracted files. So I'm going to delete this. Now we want to find where's the folder that was extracted from there. It's called characters. It's going to be the same name as the zip folder. So we're going to go inside that. We're going to select everything in there, but before we cut and move anything, we're just going to double check, make sure that there's no other folders in here. Good. All right, so we're going to select everything, and I hit Control A, selects all. And then you can right click and cut, or you can Control X. Then go right back out into the assets characters file or folder and paste all those contents. All right, next thing you can do is, well, wait, there we go. Now we're populated. Go back to that characters folder. Just double check, make sure everything's out of there. And now you're done with that folder. You don't need it anymore. So I'm going to delete it. All right, now I'm going to refresh the folder so everything's in order by name. And now I'm going to look for the DNAX file for Anakin. And that's going to be tcw_Anakin, but there's two instances of that name. One's the folder that we already looked at. So the next one in line, tcw_Anakin, is the DNAX file. Now, if you've never done this before, it's going to look like this. I'm just going to put a 0 after this. it's going to look like, oh, okay, I already did that trick before. I'm just showing you this for teaching purposes, so you don't have to do this part. So it's going to look white, and when you double click it, for the first time, a DNAX file, you're going to get a window similar to this. So what you're going to want to do is associate DNAX with your program of choice. So you can use Notepad++ if you're privy to that. I just use Notepad. And you want to associate that with all the time. And so you say yes. However, when you open it, look at this. Can you read that? Neither can I. That is not a particular language that exists in the real world. That is an encrypted language. So you don't want to alter that. You don't want to touch it. Doesn't matter what you do to it. If you do anything to it, regardless if you cut it and then paste over it and then save it, it's no good. Don't touch it. Don't touch the insides of it. It's what I'm getting at. So leave it alone. Close it out. We're going to decrypt it. So I'm going to change this back to regular DNAX file. And we need unlua. So in order to get unlua, let's go back to Disney Infinity, that video that I have up there, and we're going to need unlua. And there's the link there. I'm going to open it up in a new window. And it's going to take me here. And automatically it'll start. And I'm going to save this on my desktop again. Well, it's going to automatically take me to the last place I saved. So I'm going to put it in DI Tools. Now, unlua only works if you have Java installed on your computer. You may or may not have it. So how do you find out if you have it? You can do a search right here with the search, however your computer's set up. Mine's set up to have the magnifying glass instead of the search bar. But just type in Java. And if something comes up for Java, then you probably have Java, or it's going to take you to search for Java. About Java, see more results. So it'll search for the web. All right, if you don't have it. So we're going to go to Java. I shouldn't have done that. It opens up Microsoft Edge, and I don't like Microsoft Edge. You know why? Because when you close it, Microsoft Edge doesn't close. So I go in Task Manager and tell it to get off my computer. So let's find Java. It's by Oracle. Oracle is the manufacturer of Java. Java install. And make sure you get it. So it's going to be oracle.com, Java downloads. And you go there and find the right one for your computer. I'm not going to show you that. I mean, that should be common knowledge for those that run computers. Anyway, but if you don't have Java, unlua won't work. All right, so we have that downloaded. I have Java. You have Java, I'm sure, because you know how to do that. So I'm going to close that window. I'm going to go back to my DI tools. Now we're going to get into the part that I missed before in the last tutorial. And again, my apologies, but we're going to want to run unlua. Here's the part that I missed in the code that I gave you. So go back. Oop. Is it in here? Where's the code? It is in the pinned comment. Yeah. So when you have questions, please be more specific. All right. So it says here are the two code templates mentioned in the video for unlua. I'm going to copy that. Okay. Those two codes. Because if I just dictate it right now. It's very confusing because there's spaces, dashes, and dashes without spaces. So I'm going to copy those two codes. And I'm going to go over and create a text document here. I'm just going to call it code. Paste. Now CD underscore replace with your file directory. I'm going to show you that, what that means, because I realize, and I don't, maybe I did talk about that in the video, but I'm going to show you step by step what that means, because just looking at that, it's like, what the heck do you mean? And really, if I didn't touch this for a year and came back to it, I would ask the same question. So I'm going to save that though, because I'm going to need this. Actually, I'm going to put a space between those. So what we're going to do now, before we get into anything else running that, we're going to go back to the characters. We're going to take that Anakin DNAX file that we want to decrypt. And I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste the copy in here. And before I get too far on my before I get too far ahead of myself, I'm going to make a new folder called UNLUAC. And then I'm going to take all that stuff, put it in there, just so it's not confusing me with the QuickBMS stuff. Then I'm going to make another folder for DNAX backups. You don't have to do this, but I do it just so I'm not having a bunch of backups in my character folder. Okay. And I'm only going to back them up after they're decrypted, after I can read them. So, first things first is this unluac. This is the part that I missed before. Based on the code that I have here, I have it called unluac.jar. This, of course, is called unluac underscore 2023 underscore 12 underscore 24.jar. I don't believe I addressed that. Maybe I did. It's been a while since I did that tutorial. But you're going to want to rename this to unluac in order for that code to work, because this is going to read, or once you type this command in, it's going to look for exactly this. If it can't find this exactly, it's not going to work. So whatever you want that to be, rename it to that and make sure the file is the same name. Also, if you don't see your file extensions, go up to View in your folder and click that box, File Extensions. See, if I unclick it, file extensions don't show. So if I go back to View and click that box, now I can see them. All right. And I know I don't think I mentioned that before. Maybe I did. All right. So what I'm going to do is go up here, copy my address bar, the folder, and then let me close this. So I'll show you where to get command prompt. Go to your search. There's another way to get it, but that's how I do it. CMD, D, not F. CMD should come right up. Command prompt. Everybody has command prompt. You don't have to install it. And what I want to do is have this redirected to this particular folder. So if I just type my address bar in here, it's going to say not recognized. So type CD space, then paste. Now it's in the folder that we need. Okay. Then I'm going to take this code right here and replace where it says blank all in caps with the full name of the Anakin DNAX file, including the DNAX. So I'm just going to highlight blank and paste. Then I'm going to copy that entire line. And then I'm going to paste it right after the chevron, after unluac. I'm using Control V, by the way. You could probably get away with right click. I just messed it up, so I shouldn't have done that. So I did something bad. So you only need to do it one time. So I didn't know right click pasted automatically. Maybe it doesn't for you. It does for me. I don't know. So unable to access jar file unluac.jar. So what the heck did I do wrong? I I spelled it wrong. I have the A and the U switched. Make sure you have it spelled right. Now if I copy that and go back, paste. Now it's saved at ZZ. You can name that ZZ whatever you want. That's your output file name. But I don't want to change it every time, so I just do that. So what I'm going to do now is take the Anakin DNAX file name, copy the name, right? F2 brings up the rename instead of having to reach over and grab your mouse every time and say rename, and then Control A to select all, escape to come out of it, and I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to F2 on over the ZZZ for rename and Control V. Now I got my new DNAX file. I'm going to cut that DNAX file, put it in this folder, then I'm going to copy it. So now I'm going to have two. I'm not going to copy it right in there. I'm going to copy it and place it over in the characters folder and replace it, rename it, or override it. So now when I open it, I can read it. Okay. So if we want to give Anakin some health, this is a very basic thing that you can do. Control F to search and type in health. Okay, and now not the health meter, but the second one, health. And we're going to look for, just down a little bit, is regeneration. Now delay 5, regenerate 0. That means he's not regenerating anything. Now, do we want a delay on there? You can put a 1 second. I don't know if it's a second. I don't know if it's a ratio. I don't know if it's 5 to 0. But anybody knows 5 divided by 0 is 0. Anything divided by 0 is 0. All right, so, or error. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select 1 here, and I'm going to hit 1. I'm going to override that 5 with a 1, and I'm going to say regenerate rate 2. All right, he's Anakin, you know. Maybe you want to go higher than that, just so he's not beaten by the boss characters so easily. Another thing you can do, and it only works with 3.0 characters as far as I know, otherwise they won't move. So it'll work with definitely all the Star Wars characters. Go back to the beginning. So I just hit Control Home and I went back up to the top. And you can also search for, hierarchy. So just the first few letters of that word, H-I-E-R. All right, so now it says default avatar. If the system can't read default avatar, your character won't suffer any knockback. Now, there's different ways to do that for 1.0 and 2.0 characters, but like I said, this is just something easy. If you don't want your character knocked back by boss characters, because Anakin should be the boss. You know, Vader should be a boss character. Even Obi-Wan should have boss stats, you know? To me, I do that. Hulk shouldn't be able to be pushed around, in my honest opinion. So, but Hulk's different. He's 2.0, so he's going to operate. He might operate a little bit different if you throw a 0 in here. 0 renders this line unreadable. Anything after that's going to render unreadable. It's just so I do it just so I'm not deleting it and forgetting what was there. So now I'm going to save it. You don't have to do that, but I'm just showing you things that you can do. There's a lot of other things you can do. I'm just trying to be as simple can be. Okay? So now you can either leave that open or close it. Since it's saved, I just decided to close it. Again, we have a backup in our UNLUAC DNAX folder. So if we ever mess it up and we want the original Anakin file back, we can just go there and override it. So now, if we open up the game, now notice the loading screen here. When you're doing a lot of mods, you don't want to sit by and go through all of that constantly, every time, because you're going to do a lot of checking. Another thing I don't want the audio on because it's going to be picked up and I don't want it flagged. So I'm going to do effects 1, dialogue 2, back. And now I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to go build, toy box saves, and I'm just going to go Tatooine Basic Town. All right, and I think I have Yeah, I didn't want that on there, but it's going to turn to Skies of Felucia, whatever. Let's get Anakin here.
Let's get this done.
All right. So now, somebody that can knock me around, I'm going to let him hit me and watch what happens. I'm still standing. But
This time, I've got it.
let one of them hit me and not all three of them at the same time. All right. So I'm going to get out of the way, and you're going to see my health climb. I am regenerating. So those are just some simple things that you can do. And yes, we've gone over these before, but again, I just wanted to see if I could make it simpler and correct that one mistake that I never went over, or that one item that I never went over of renaming the unlua file, unless I did. And if I did, then, well, you're just getting this again. If I didn't, my apologies, and this will correct that situation. So, until next time, remember to keep on building and keep on modding.
Mod Messin, Mod Messin, Mod Messin, Mod Messin, Mod Messin, Mod Messin, Mod.